I was raised in a house that didn't have God. It was healthy and functional, but it lacked that spiritual fulfillment that I needed. The outside sources that I had teaching me about God were kind of scary and hypocritical, and it pushed me away. Growing up, I tried to find any way that I could to have an identity, something that made me me, that made me stand out. And through that, I found, as crazy as it sounds, I found paganism and witchcraft, and that kind of gave me this sense of power and kind of shock and awe to people, that even if I didn't get like good attention from it, it was some sort of attention, it was some sort of something that made me feel important, that, or just noticed, something that I felt like I didn't get a whole lot, because I always felt that I didn't belong anywhere. So I found that, and through that, I made friends that had similar interests, which seemed great at the time, but wasn't always the best thing, and it put me in some bad relationships with people. I spent a lot of time alone when I wasn't with, those particular friends, and I never realized how toxic any of it was. And it led me into a cycle of just picking people that would walk on me or use me, or, whatever the case may be, in friendship relationships, romantic relationships, some even leading to abuse. Anything to have that something to cling to, even though it wasn't healthy and it wasn't okay. And I never thought that I could have a relationship with anybody that was normal or healthy. And I just thought that's just how my life was gonna be. I was always gonna be the person that got walked on, that got used, whose feelings didn't matter or weren't valid. And then I find my job. I work with adults with developmental disabilities, and through them is where I started finding God, and building relationships with them, which to this day are the most important relationships to me. And they showed me what unconditional love was, because they're so pure and they're so innocent. And they kind of remind me in a way of what it's like to have a relationship with Jesus, because it's so pure, it's so innocent, and it's so unconditional, and it's right. It's just really right. And that's what they showed me. And then I get to come here and meet everybody here, and they kind of continue to show me that same thing, of what it's supposed to be like to have a relationship with your friends and with people and with God. And it's something that I don't think I'll ever take for granted. And it's something that I'm so blessed and thankful to say that I have in my life now. And it makes me wonder why I never found it before. I spent most of my life fighting all of my battles on my feet, unaware that God could win them all if I just fell to my knees. And I wanted to deny it so bad. Anytime we'd go to church on Sundays and something would make sense or it would click, I would try to be like, no, no, I'm crazy. That's not real. It doesn't make sense. This is, it goes against everything I ever believed. Until one day I put down my cell phone and I really start listening to what the pastor at the old church was saying. And I just tried to hide it. I just tried to, push it back, just because it makes sense doesn't mean I'm gonna dive into that. And then God does something really funny, because he loves to do funny things. Matt starts working at the group home that I work at. And it was like God's way of putting something in my life that's like, you can't run from this person. This person's there, you're gonna see them every day, and you're gonna wanna talk to them. And they're not gonna bring it up to you, but you're gonna wanna talk to them, and I did. And so when I found out he was a pastor, I just felt that tug, and I just wanted to talk to him all the time about God. And he never brought it up. I was going to him, which was just such a weird feeling for me. I never in my life thought I would do something like that. And so I'd go to him, and it would be something as simple as, I think God's like, tugging on my heart. What do I do? He's like, just keep listening to it. Just keep listening to it. I knew there was something. There had to be something. But I refused to believe that it was that scary, hypocritical God that I knew before. So I went to other gods that, in a sense, gave me the control. With Christianity and with God, you have to give up all that control. You have to completely surrender. I'm not good at that. I am horrible at that. With paganism, you have that control pretty much. If you do certain things under certain moons and with the right ingredients, you can make stuff happen. You can, manipulate the energies of the world. Like, it gives you all of the control, which is what I needed, because I felt like I had no control throughout my entire life. I never really felt like I had any control over how I felt or what I was doing, and so paganism gave me that. It gave me that control. But what I never realized was that control was more of a prison than anything. You think it's, this freedom and it's all cool and it's fun, but it's really constricting, and it's like on your soul. It's an imprisonment for your soul. And I never saw it that way until I found God. Because when I finally did just kind of surrender, I'm like, okay, God, you have it all. I'm done. I can't write this anymore. There's too many typos. I've done it wrong. You take it, you re-edit it, because you were the author of this, and I'm not taking that pen from you anymore. That is when it was like a weight. It was like a weight lifted. And at first it wasn't like bright and shiny and pretty. It was actually really messy at first, having to pretty much reteach myself everything I thought I knew about God and religion and my life in general. I just had to relearn all of that, and that was a messy process. It was a very messy process, and it was a scary one. But life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So I had to step out of that comfort zone to really find where my life was going to begin, and that was with God.